The Secret Blacksmith. From the title alone, I wasn't sure what to expect. I presumed the show would present us with a main character that forges weapons, and we get something similar, but rather different than what I imagined. For starters, the protagonist of the story ain't the titular character, namely Luke Skywalker. Ainsworth.
What? Seriously?
No, we actually have a female main character, which is just perfect for my taste. I just love action anime with a female lead. That's why I love Fairy Tail so much. Among other predominant reasons.
We're a couple of fun-loving girls on a sightseeing vacay!
Speaking of which, Cecile Campbell, who is the protagonist of the series, sounds and behaves dangerously similar with Lucy Harfilia. It also helps that they have the same dub voice actress, and of course, they both have cheerful personalities and are determined to fight for what they believe in. Now that I'm characterizing a female main character, I gotta mention her boobs.
Why is everyone so obsessed with my boobs?
If I had a rack like yours, I'd use them to get what I want.
In this show, her bust size is considerable.
I don't want to talk about it.
Of course, it would be no match for Lucy's stacked package.
Excuse us, but would you let us through, pretty please?
But compared to the other females around her, Cecile seems to have size on her side. She's also a third-generation knight from the Knight Guards of Houston, the third city of the independent trade cities. Yeah, whatever. We get to see her boobs for half a second, right in the first and second episode. Sadly, it goes by so fast that if you blink, you might miss it. Wasn't a problem for me, of course. My eyes are formed to spot fanservice in every frame available. You have to watch the beginning yourself to verify my claim. Trust me, it is worth the effort, as the anime as a whole is a lot of fun to watch. Alright, we found ourselves in a weird fantasy land, which is not an MMORPG alternative reality, to my surprise. You see, back in 2009, not every fantasy anime had to conveniently teleport the main character to some game world where he overpowers everyone and gets an unofficial harem. The Secret Blacksmith came a few years before Sword Art Online, the title that forever changed anime and created a brand new trend for countless other shows to follow.
I mean, love? But you and me were...
No, we're not. I know you're not really my brother, and I'm not your sister.
Cecile is a noble woman that has become a knight. She also believes strongly in justice and ultimately champions the idea of protecting the city and its inhabitants, in contrast to her firm beliefs. Luke Ainsworth has a more passive approach in regard with helping other people. He's willing to defend the innocent. We can't exactly throw himself in harm's way as eagerly and frequent as the main character. This creates a nice contrast between Cecile and Luke. They have a nice dynamic together.
I'm not here to bug you for a katana today.
Good, because you wouldn't know what to do with one if you had it.
Oh, he could be such a joker. You're dead.
Luke has certainly saved Cecile's life, which made her show great respect for his swordsmanship skill. Naturally, given the anime title, Ainsworth is also a blacksmith that favors forging katanas above all other weapons. Instead of molding or hammering the weapons, he has a weird way of conjuring them with the help of his young, lowly assistant called Lisa. Lisa is actually a demon, born from Lisa Oakwood, Luke's childhood friend. It is left uncertain, but also kind of suggested that in order to protect Luke, Lisa Oakwood made a demonic pact before being killed and sacrificed herself to create Lisa. Yeah, the story is getting a bit complicated now. This brings me to talk about how convoluted the plot of the series is. The bouncing plot, though, like in most goals, is nice to look at. But it's the overall story that is kinda weak. I mean, the concept is just fine. We have these dangerous and mysterious demon contracts that some humans are forced or even chose to fulfill. This leads to some pretty gruesome and violent scenes, which certainly adds elements of danger and urgency throughout the anime. I think the biggest issue with the show is how it is structured. We pretty much have 3 major story arcs, out of which 2 of them rely on crazy old men to be the apparent danger, while the real threat is lurking in the shadows. Not a big fan of the narrative, but it was executed properly and gave enough time to all characters to be developed and to thematically interact with each other, but I haven't yet introduced everyone, as I still have to mention a few more girls, like Arya for example. Ironically, she's not a real human, but a demon sword of wind. She's the most peculiar weapon, as out of most demon swords, Arya is special. Therefore she has the ability to transform into a human.
I call on the powers that be. Reveal the truth within. Awaken the power of wind. Awaken!
She's beautiful, light-hearted, and optimistic, most of the time. Her suggested age is over 40, but has the appearance of a young woman with a slim figure. Arya resembles Asuna from the SAO franchise, by the way.
Very suspicious.
I mean, it looks similar, even the chest and attire. Alright, this will be the last product I make to that anime, I promise. Where was I? Oh yeah. Arya is usually in good spirits and also likes to tease Cecily in regard with her chest and her relationship with Luke.
Arya! Luke isn't my boyfriend! I wouldn't go near that jerk if my life depended on it!
She prefers her human form, enjoying life and her friends whenever possible, but is sometimes affected by her past and the mystery behind her creation. Once she transforms into a weapon, Arya is affiliated with the element of wind and can utilize it to her wielder's needs in battle. Cecile Campbell is the one who wields her and is determined to use her power for the greater good.
I meant to ask, have you been sneaking into bed with me the last few nights?
Heck yes!
Throughout her stay with Cecile, Arya meets another demon soul like herself, which prompts her curiosity. She's particularly interested in how she was born and how she's able to take human form. Time to introduce some supported characters. Starting the second half of the show, Dama introduces a brand new story arc centered around Charlotte E. Feuerbeiser, a young girl from the Empire who is an illegitimate daughter of the Emperor. She's on a personal quest to fulfill her mother's dying wish to be recognized as a legitimate member of the royal family. This is the part of the show I enjoy the most. It has a lot of girl talk, as Charlotte is accompanied by her three trusting companions, Doris, Margot, and Penelope. All of them are in possession of demon swords, and upon their introduction, we have a pretty engaging fight sequence where these three ladies manage to get a drop on Cecile Campbell. They all become friends, of course, and Charlotte even ends up staying at the main character's mansion, where she and her companions end up working as maids, tasked with cleaning and taking care of the household. For a while they all enjoy each other's company, they learn to appreciate authority and hard work, also experiencing friendship alongside Cecile, who despite being the head of the family, also somehow ended up taking care of the chores alongside them.
So, why are you dressed like a maid?
It feels like they actually create a bond with each other. However, when the Empire refuses to recognize Charlotte and brands her as an imposter, she is forced into the tough decision of having to face the death penalty or defect to an opposing nation. Even though Houseman is part of the independent race it is, they decided not to openly go against the Empire demands in hopes of avoiding a conflict. Authorities do, however, give her a chance to avoid capture and seek refuge in a foreign nation. The only problem, though, is that Charlotte and her companions aren't ready to give up on their dreams and stubbornly refuse to simply run away. Here's where Cecile comes through and convinces her to renounce her royal status, saving her life and giving her a chance for a better future, far away from the political intrigue of the Empire. The last segment of the show gives us a clear villain. He has been shown before, pulling the strings behind the scenes, but as the anime is coming to a close, he became the obvious antagonist of the story. Siegfried Hausmann is a recently promoted commander from the Empire, and also the source of most conflict in the series. He gets to clash swords with Luke, and proves to be a formidable opponent, as Siegfried wields the demon sword of corruption. From that moment on, a rivalry has started between them. While roughly equal in battle, Luke's Ainsworth definitely got the drop on him during negotiations.
It seems your boyfriend is now reneging on your story.
Then you should consider yourself lucky, Siegfried.
What?
Besides being a total badass, the secret Blacksmith also seems to have a strange sense of humor, and is sarcastic on many occasions, adding a bit of comedy whenever a situation seems too dark or hard to overcome.
It figures he'd attack my place. It's where all the idiot knights hang out.
What did you say?
The anime relies heavily on the witty interactions between Cecile Campbell and Luke Ainsworth, which is probably why, as a whole, it is a very enjoyable watch. These two have great chemistry, and it is a joy to see their strong personalities clash on so many occasions.
If you've got something to say, you should just go ahead and say it.
Go home.
You're so rude!
I give The Sacred Blacksmith a 7.3 out of 10. It's an ambitious anime with colorful characters and interesting ideas that are not always executed to the extent of their potential.